Do it for you, not for the applause, not for the recognition, not for the approval of the crowd. Let me tell you something important today, something simple, but life-changing. If you want to grow, you must grow for yourself. If you want to change, you must change for yourself. If you want success, it must come from the inside. Because here's the truth. People may inspire you. They may encourage you. They may support you, but they cannot carry you. And if the only reason you start is because someone else is watching you, you'll quit the moment they look away. Success doesn't work like that. Success requires something deeper, something personal, something you feel in your bones. You must become your own reason, your own motivation, your own fire. Because when the lights go out, when the room is empty, when nobody is cheering, that's when the real you shows up. And that version of you, the private, quiet, disciplined version, is the one that builds your life. So today we talk about a simple principle. Do it for you, not others, not applause, not validation, not attention. Do it because your future depends on it. Do it because your life will change because of it. Do it because you deserve more than the person you used to be. Let's dive in. If you want to live a great life, you must decide to live it for yourself first. Not for the neighbors, not for your friends, not for the critics, not for the crowd, for you. Because here's the truth that most people never learn. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you. No one is coming to guarantee your future. The day you realize that is the day you finally grow up, the day you take responsibility for your life, the day everything begins to change. See, life becomes different when you stop performing for the world and start improving for yourself. Most people spend their whole life trying to impress others, trying to look successful instead of becoming successful, trying to please everyone except themselves. But let me ask you something. What happens when the applause stops? What happens when the people who cheer for you disappear? What happens when the crowd moves on to the next person? If you were doing it for them, you'll stop. You'll quit. You'll fade. But when you do it for you, you become unstoppable. Because now your motivation is internal. Your discipline is internal. Your fire is internal. And the person who is driven from within cannot be controlled from the outside. Let me say that again. The person who is driven from within cannot be controlled from the outside. That's power. That's independence. That's freedom. See, the day you decide to do it for yourself is the day you stop negotiating with excuses. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop hoping for someone to push you. You stop depending on outside energy to move your life forward. Instead, you start building your own energy, your own discipline, your own momentum. And momentum is a powerful thing. Once you create it, once you feel it, once you taste it, you don't want to lose it. That's why it must start with you. Let me tell you something else. Others can inspire you, but they cannot transform you. Inspiration is a spark. Transformation is a decision, and the decision must come from you. Parents can guide you. Teachers can advise you. Mentors can teach you, but none of them can make you do the work. None of them can make you wake up early. None of them can make you stay committed. None of them can make you go after your dreams. They can show the path, but you must walk it. They can give you the tools, but you must use them. They can share the wisdom, but you must practice it. And when you make that shift from external motivation to internal purpose, life becomes clearer. You stop comparing yourself. You stop chasing approval. You stop living someone else's story. You begin shaping your own identity. You begin choosing your own standards. You begin creating your own expectations. And expectations are powerful because you will always rise or fall to the level of what you expect from yourself. If you expect little, you'll achieve little. If you expect average, you'll get average. But if you expect greatness, not from the world, not from others, but from yourself, everything in your life begins to shift. You begin talking differently, walking differently, thinking differently, working differently. Not because someone is watching, but because you are. You become accountable to the person in the mirror. And that is the strongest accountability in the world. You can lie to others, but you cannot lie to yourself. You can fool the world, but you cannot fool the person looking back at you every morning. So I say, make that person proud. Make that person stronger. Make that person better. Do it for you. Because when you do it for yourself first, when you build discipline, habits, strength, and vision from the inside, everything outside changes. Your relationships improve. Your confidence grows. Your income rises. Your standards elevate. Life responds to the person who takes responsibility for themselves. Life opens doors for the person who shows up for themselves. Life rewards the person who works for themselves. So remember this. You are your own project. You are your own investment. You are your own responsibility. And when you choose to do the work, not for applause, not for attention, but for your own future, you step into the most powerful version of yourself. Do it for you, because you're worth it, because your future needs you, because your best life depends on it, and because no one else can do it for you. If there's one lesson life will teach you sooner or later, it's this. Anything you do for others won't last. Not for long, because external motivation is temporary. It fades. It disappears. It collapses the moment life gets hard. See, when you do something only to impress someone, only to prove something, only to gain approval, you give away your power. You hand the keys of your life to someone else's opinion. And that's dangerous, because opinions change. People change. Circumstances change. And when the person you're trying to impress is no longer watching, your effort disappears with them. If you don't have enough reasons of your own, you'll never stay long enough to win. Doing it for others is not a strong enough reason. Let me give you the truth as plainly as possible. You can't build a lifetime of discipline on someone else's approval. Not your friends, not your boss, not your partner, not your family. Why? Because they cannot carry your dreams for you. They cannot carry your purpose. They cannot carry your pain. Every dream, every goal, every discipline has a price, and no one can pay it for you. When you do things for others, for applause, for validation, for recognition, you're depending on something you can't control. And anytime your motivation depends on something you can't control, your results become unpredictable. If someone else is the source of your motivation, they will also be the source of your downfall. That's the trap. Because when the praise slows down, you slow down. When the admiration fades, your discipline fades. When the attention stops, so do you. You see it everywhere. People start a new routine, a new job, a new project, with energy, excitement, enthusiasm. But the moment people stop noticing, they stop working. That's why their results don't last. Their motivation wasn't internal. Their why wasn't strong. Their purpose wasn't personal. They were performing, not progressing. And performing is exhausting, but progressing is energizing. Big difference. Success requires consistency, and consistency requires purpose, a purpose that belongs to you. But when you do it for others, the purpose isn't yours. It's borrowed, and borrowed purpose always expires. Let me give you something to think about. If the only thing keeping you disciplined is someone watching you, what happens when no one is watching? If the only thing keeping you motivated is someone cheering for you, what happens when the cheering stops? If the only thing keeping you on track is someone believing in you, what happens when they lose faith? You see what I mean? That's why you must build your own drive, your own hunger, your own reasons. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Because you are the one constant. Everything else can change, but you remain. So the work must start with you. The reason must come from you. The desire must belong to you. Otherwise, the moment challenges come, and they will, you'll quit because you weren't doing it for yourself. You are doing it to avoid judgment, to gain approval, to fit in. And none of that survives hardship. But your own reasons do. Your own purpose does. Your own identity does. A person driven from within can walk through storms that would break anyone else. A person driven from within keeps going when the applause is gone. A person driven from within doesn't need permission to chase greatness. They choose it. They own it. They live it. So let me tell you this. The day you stop doing things for others and start doing things for yourself is the day your life becomes real. You eat better for yourself. You study harder for yourself. You wake up early for yourself. You build discipline for yourself. And then, here's the beautiful part. When you're strong for yourself, you become strong for others. Naturally, your growth lifts people. Your discipline inspires people. Your strength helps people. But now it's real because it's built on truth. You're not pretending to be strong. You are strong. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're improving yourself. So remember this simple rule. If you do it for others, it will crumble. If you do it for yourself, it will last. And the things that last are the things that transform your life. Do it for you, because you're the one who must live with the results. You're the one who must carry the consequences. You're the one who must walk the journey. And when the journey is yours, so is the victory. Self-respect. It's a simple phrase, but it's one of the most powerful forces in your life. Because once you have it, everything changes. The way you speak changes. The way you act changes. The decisions you make change. Self-respect is not about arrogance. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's not about looking good or showing off. Self-respect is about knowing your value. It's about knowing what you deserve. It's about holding yourself to a standard that others cannot lower. Let me explain. Most people live their lives at the mercy of others. They take direction from opinions. They seek approval. They settle for what others think is enough. And that's why they rarely achieve greatness. Why? Because greatness is not given. It's earned. And it requires standards. High standards. Uncompromising standards. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. But discipline can only hold if you respect yourself. If you don't, you will cheat yourself. You will cut corners. You will settle for mediocrity. Self-respect is the standard that keeps you disciplined. It's the inner voice that says, no shortcuts, no excuses, no compromises. When you respect yourself, you stop doing things that harm you. You stop wasting time on meaningless distractions. You stop participating in habits that lower your energy, your focus, your worth. Self-respect is your compass. It points you toward decisions that serve your growth. It protects your time, your energy, your mind. And here's the beauty. When you raise your standard through self-respect, other people automatically treat you differently. Opportunities appear. People take you more seriously. Your life begins to reflect the value you place on yourself. But self-respect must be built. It's not given. It's not something you inherit. It's something you earn every day. You earn it when you keep your promises to yourself. You earn it when you show up consistently. You earn it when you choose growth over comfort. You earn it when you say no to what's easy and yes to what's meaningful. And it starts with the small things. How you speak to yourself in the mirror. How you manage your time. How you care for your body. How you invest in your mind. These small choices define your standard. They define your self-respect. They define the person you become. And once you establish that standard, you will no longer allow mediocrity in your life. You will no longer tolerate toxic people. You will no longer accept less than you deserve. Your level of discipline will determine your level of success. But I'll add this. Your level of self-respect will determine your level of discipline. Because discipline without self-respect is obedience. Self-respect makes discipline a natural part of who you are. It's no longer a struggle. It's no longer a chore. It's a way of life. And the power of self-respect goes beyond success. It impacts every relationship, every interaction, every decision. When you respect yourself, you attract respect. You inspire respect. You radiate strength, calm, and confidence. And that confidence fuels action. Action fuels results. Results fuel even higher standards. It becomes a cycle of growth and empowerment. So here's the lesson. If you want to do it for yourself, if you want to stop relying on others, if you want your success to last, start with self-respect. Raise your standard. Hold yourself accountable. Decide what you will accept in your life and what you will not. Decide how you will treat yourself and how you will not allow yourself to be treated. Your life will rise or fall to the standard you set for yourself. Nothing more, nothing less. And when you live by that standard, you'll discover something incredible. You don't need anyone else's approval. You don't need applause. You don't need validation, because the person that matters most is you. Respect yourself enough to demand the best. Respect yourself enough to invest in growth. Respect yourself enough to live intentionally, because self-respect is not just a feeling. It's a way of life. It's a standard. And it's the foundation for everything you want to achieve. So start today. Decide that you will honor yourself. Raise your standard. And let self-respect guide every choice you make. Do it for you, not others, not applause, not approval. Do it for the person you're becoming. Life is full of voices. Voices from friends. Voices from family. Voices from society. Voices from people who love us and people who don't. They all want something from us. They all have opinions about what we should do, how we should live, who we should become. And if we're not careful, we start living for them. We start following their path. We start meeting their expectations. We start measuring our worth by their approval. And before long, we forget about the person we were meant to be. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. The truth is simple. When you live for others' expectations, you trade your life for someone else's idea of success. And that's a life of compromise. A life of quiet disappointment. A life that never reaches its true potential. But when you live for your purpose, everything changes. Purpose gives you direction. Purpose gives you clarity. Purpose gives you a reason to wake up early, to work hard, to endure challenges. Purpose turns effort into energy. It turns struggle into growth. It turns discipline into freedom. You see, purpose is internal. Expectations are external. Purpose never fades. Expectations always change. And here's the critical difference. When you live for others, you are dependent. Dependent on approval. Dependent on applause. Dependent on their understanding. When you live for your purpose, you are independent. Independent in thought. Independent in action. Independent in spirit. You do not wait for permission. You do not look for validation. You do not bend to every opinion. You act. You grow. You become. Here's something I want you to think about. Most people fail, not because they lack talent, not because they lack resources, but because they live for someone else. They chase titles they don't want. They follow careers they don't enjoy. They meet expectations they never set. And when failure comes, as it always does, they feel lost. They feel empty. They feel regret. But you, the person who chooses purpose, you will feel something different. You will feel pride. Even when you stumble, you know why you are moving. Even when the world disagrees, you know the path is yours. Even when others fail to understand, you know you are true to yourself. Living for your purpose requires courage. Courage to say no to people-pleasing. Courage to break free from tradition. Courage to embrace the vision you were born for. And courage always pays off. Not always immediately, but eventually. Because when you align your actions with your purpose, life begins to conspire in your favor. Doors open. Opportunities appear. Energy flows. Confidence grows. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. And living for your purpose is exactly that. It is choosing to be better instead of trying to please everyone. It is choosing to grow instead of following someone else's rules. So here's what I want you to do today. Ask yourself, am I living for their expectations or for my purpose? Be honest. Be ruthless. Be brave. If it's the former, start changing. Start prioritizing your goals. Start defining your own standards. Start pursuing what matters to you, because life is too short and your potential is too great to live for anyone else's vision. When you live for your purpose, your life becomes unstoppable. Your energy becomes magnetic. Your decisions become clear. And here's the best part. You inspire others without even trying. Your success lights the way. Your confidence sets the example. Your fulfillment shows the possibility. And you do it all, not for applause, not for recognition, not for approval. You do it for the person in the mirror, for the future you, for the life you were meant to live, because living for your purpose is the only way to live a life worth remembering. So today, choose courage over comfort. Choose your purpose over expectations. Choose yourself over the crowd. Do it for you, not for them, not for applause, not for approval. Do it for the life only you can create. The person who lives for themselves. The person who respects themselves. The person who follows their purpose. That person is unstoppable. That person is independent. That person is self-made. But let me be clear. Being self-made is not about money. It's not about titles. It's not about recognition. Being self-made is about responsibility. It's about ownership. It's about becoming the architect of your own life. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. But I will add this. Discipline is easier when you are self-driven, when the fire comes from inside, when the reason comes from within. A self-driven person does not wait for motivation. A self-driven person does not wait for someone else to start. A self-driven person does not wait for approval. They take action. They create momentum. They build their life step by step, day by day. Self-direction is the companion to self-drive. It means you choose your path. You decide your schedule. You make your own rules. You set your own goals. You measure your own progress. Because here's the truth. The world will try to define you. The world will try to limit you. The world will try to tell you what you can or cannot do. And if you let it, it will control you. It will shape your life. It will decide your destiny. But a self-directed person refuses to be controlled by others. They take the world's challenges and turn them into opportunities. They take responsibility for mistakes and learn. They take setbacks and use them as fuel. Self-made, self-driven, self-directed. It is the trifecta of personal power. Think about it. People who achieve greatness rarely have the perfect conditions. They rarely have someone holding their hand. They rarely have support every step of the way. What they do have is themselves. They have internal motivation. They have discipline. They have standards. They have purpose. And that is enough. That is more than enough. Because a person who is self-driven and self-directed does not rely on luck, does not rely on favors, does not rely on chance. They rely on work. They rely on effort. They rely on discipline. They rely on themselves. And here's the truth you must never forget. No one will do for you what you can do for yourself. No mentor, no friend, no family member. If you want your life to change, you must take it into your own hands. You must become the leader of your life. You must become the executor of your own plans. Being self-made is not easy. It requires sacrifice. It requires discipline. It requires resilience. It requires consistency. But the rewards are immeasurable, because when you are self-made, you are free. You are confident. You are empowered. You no longer live by others' rules. You no longer answer to applause. You no longer depend on validation. Your life becomes a reflection of your standards. Your choices become a reflection of your purpose. Your actions become a reflection of your character. And that, my friends, is success on the highest level. So I challenge you today. Become self-driven. Become self-directed. Become self-made. Take responsibility for your life. Take ownership of your goals. Take control of your habits. Because when you do, you unlock the most powerful version of yourself. You stop waiting for others. You stop performing for the crowd. You stop living for someone else's approval. And instead, you start living for you. You start building your life. You start creating the future you deserve. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And that is the essence of being self-made. Improving yourself, driving yourself, leading yourself, so that no one else can dictate your destiny. So take charge. Step up, lead your life, and become the person who is self-made, self-driven, and self-directed. Do it for you, because your life depends on it, because your future depends on it, because the world needs the best version of you, and it starts with you. So remember this. Success begins and ends with you. Your life is the result of your choices, your discipline, your standards. No one else can live it for you. No one else can carry your dreams. No one else can pay your price. Do it for you. Respect yourself. Follow your purpose. Lead your own life. Be self-driven, self-directed, and self-made. The world may change. Circumstances may challenge you. People may doubt you. It doesn't matter. Because when you take full responsibility for your life, when you do it for yourself, when you honor your purpose, you become unstoppable. The question is simple. Will you do it? Will you take charge of your life today so that tomorrow you don't live someone else's dream? The choice is yours. The work is yours. The reward is yours. And the time to start is now.